Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my majestic universe. This is the Pro Wrestling Zone podcast, a majestic production, where you will hear the news and reviews of everything professional wrestling with a twist. You have never heard another pro wrestling podcast like this, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And without further ado, let me introduce to you your hosts of the Pro Wrestling Zone, Tiger Height and Peanut Gallery. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the Pro Wrestling Zone. I, of course, am Tiger Height, the best in the world.
No.
And your current majestic champion of the world.
No.
With the Daniel Benoit to my Chris Benoit, Peanut Gallery.
What up? And I don't feel like killing my family. Let's put it out there right now. Anyways.
I do.
Wow.
So we're covering, with this show specifically, great intro to our new shit.
We're going to discuss NXT Takeover UK Cardiff and All Elite Wrestling's All Out show. And if you do not have an erect cock at this moment in time after watching both of those pay-per-views, then you are not a man.
Right. We're going to cover Cardiff at least right now, and then we'll go into All Out after a word from our sponsor, and then probably a 2.5, 3 minute break.
Perfect.
So Cardiff, overall, the show was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I was surprised.
Yeah. So let's just get right into it because there's a lot to talk about with
Travis
the show.
Banks and Noam Dar was the first match, and as a curtain jerker match, it was a really good match.
It was really good. It was probably one of the top. If you put all the matches in order, it's one of the top three.
Oh yeah. There was a good rivalry with it. There was great action with it.
Yeah.
They really played on a lot of that stuff, and to me, the right person won.
Yeah.
Noam Dar did win with the, oh God, what do they call it? The Nova Roller or whatever. It's the Standing Shining Wizard.
Yeah.
He won it with that. It was a really good match. A good time as well.
Yeah.
I felt at some points it got a little bit slow.
13 minutes and 55 seconds. So it wasn't the longest match. It was kind of right there in the middle.
Right. And, Noam Dar is definitely not going to be a contender for the United Kingdom champion yet, but there was at least a staple to a undercard division to where Noam Dar could be a contender with the right champion in mind.
Exactly. Now, let's go with this next match is what is really interesting to me. Let's talk about Cesaro coming to NXT UK to issue an open challenge.
And it was answered by, how do you pronounce this guy's name?
Ilja Dragunov, who also made his debut at the show.
Creepy little dude.
He was Soviet Russian. Let's not judge Vladimir the Vlad Impaler.
I'm going to say this right now. This was my match of the night.
Vladimirsky. It was because of Cesaro. He looked...
But taking nothing away from Dragunov, he did a fantastic...
He was the perfect first opponent.
He was awesome. This was, of any match that I would say, go and watch it, this is the match to see.
Exactly. And Cesaro, well, we know Cesaro has a history in the WWE. On the main roster, he has multiple mid-card and tag team championships to his name. And
right,
the reason that this match kind of stood out was because it was Cesaro. Not
only that, but Dragunov, where people, I've seen a couple of matches with him in NXT UK, but this was a shining match.
Yes, it was.
And Cesaro is not the only person to take away from this. Dragunov pulled his weight. He really looked amazing.
And it really is a theme that we're seeing with these main roster stars going to the NXT and NXT UK brands. Now, in the future, we are going to discuss this more in depth, but this is definitely one of those examples to where now you can kind of see that the NXT and NXT UK divisions are not like the lower end of the totem pole.
They're not FCW anymore. This is not FCW.
No.
But like I said, like Peanut Gallery said, probably tomorrow we're going to do another show.
Sometime in the future, we are going to have a show discussing this trend that we're seeing.
More than likely tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be covering another show. But the match was amazing.
Yeah.
Cesaro did win with a massive uppercut, hit a big neutralizer.
And how many times did you do a Cesaro swing? 40 times.
40 times. 40 seconds. He did not stop whatsoever. And that was amazing. But this crowd, I really think the crowd really made the show.
Yes. The crowd was fantastic. Cesaro got the biggest pop of the night.
Easily. Well, that in contention with our main event, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
12 minutes and 26 seconds, Cesaro beats Ilja Dragunov.
Ilja Dragunov could be a person of interest for later.
Yes, he has a great gimmick. A great gimmick.
A fantastic wrestler. He is the Darby Allin of NXT UK.
Oh, absolutely. Let's move on to this.
God damn, this match was good.
Yeah, but this rivalry, just to put this context, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, who are from Wales, earned a spot in this match. Zach Gibson and James Drake, they have been the tag team champions from the very beginning, but they were not an established team. And then you get Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, who represented that group, being the established team. This rivalry was all about veterans and establishment and kind of going against that.
It also really showcased the tag team division of NXT UK.
Oh my God.
And this, other than AEW, which we'll cover later, is probably one of the strongest tag team divisions in wrestling right now.
Right.
Everybody even is a part of the main event roster with Walter, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, Joe Coffey. A lot of these guys, they're established with teams that are alone very good, which is great, and that's what needs to happen with these teams. And the tag team, other than my structural frustration with how they structure a tag team, a triple threat tag team match. Every other company but WWE does it right, where a representative from each team is in the match, except for WWE, where it's like a one-on-one.
Right.
I find it weird and also kind of frustrating.
It is very frustrating because you can't tag your own partner in. I mean, like, what kind of rule is...
you can tag your own partner in, but then there's literally an entire team that's doing nothing. If it's going to be a triple threat, have a triple threat. You don't see... In a regular triple threat match, all the participants are involved from beginning to end.
Right.
Why isn't that for the tag division? It just doesn't.
In a lot of cases, too, again, going back to it, when you're in a triple threat or a fatal four-way tag team match, you really can't tag your own partner in. It always has to be a different team, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, you can tag your own partner in, but generally when you're close to the other person, they blind tag themselves in.
Which happens every time. And there's this is always this is too predictable.
With these gripes in mind, this match was awesome.
It was great. A lot of good spots. Even though they called it tandem. It wasn't tandem. It just happened to happen at the same time. It
that
was
bothered me immensely.
Spot.
when Peanut Gallery, when I think of a tandem tag team move, if you and I were wrestling, I hit a scoop slam and you hit a splash immediately after, that's tandem tag team wrestling. Not when I hit a scoop slam on one person and you hit a slam on another person. That's not tandem. Tandem is a sequence of moves together. Tag team moves are literally happening at the same time.
Nigel, you got it wrong.
Nigel McGuinness is equally an amazing commentator as a part of an excitement, but he's starting to get kind of batshit grossly bad like Corey Graves is now.
Oh my god, Corey Graves is a smear in my underwear bad.
Yeah, he's becoming really dog shit, where when he was in NXT, he was awesome.
Yeah.
But now, Nigel McGuinness is not that bad yet, but he's starting to become that.
Absolutely.
With the wrong calls, not anything outside of them calling the match. The commentary on the show was amazing.
It was good, and the crowd was good.
The crowd
was
very
NXT UK crowd, and that's just the way that they are over there.
And I don't mind that at all, as long as they continue with that kind of close-knit kind of thing. Don't try to sell out a big arena because it's not as personal.
Right.
Now, we will probably talk about this more on another show, but I really like a smaller crowd because it sounds louder. It looks better.
It does look better. Right.
Now, at the end of this match, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster did win this match with a beautiful shooting star press on the back of Zach Gibson.
And oh my god, the Wales crowd was just
all
over it.
Mm-hmm. They lost their mind.
It was a feel-good match.
They lost their mind. Everybody was doing the Mark Andrews wave. I mean, Peanut Gallery and I were doing the wave here.
Right.
Because we felt that. There was I don't know about Peanut Gallery, but I'm going to speak for at least myself. There was an emotional connection to that. Like, I felt it. I'm like, wow. It hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, absolutely. So
fantastic. It was a fantastic match with
fantastic. It was a spot fest, but it was a fantastic spot.
We're not going to take nothing away from the Grizzled Young Veterans, who I think deserve a tag team title rematch.
Yep.
Them against the new champions at the next Takeover would be awesome.
Always going to be a good team.
Oh yeah, very powerful, very large, and they're great heels.
Speaking of Gallus, let's go to Large Gallus, which is the subject of our next match.
Yep.
The last man standing match. Which big guy can stand up the longest? Well, is it going to be Joe Coffey of Gallus, or is it going to be Dave Mastiff of Dave Mastiff and Company, which is the mouse in his pocket? This last man standing match, honestly, it was a good match. A lot of great spots, a lot of good weapons being used, and you could feel, there were spots where you could feel that pain. It's like, oh, whatever, you know.
You can feel the pain, but also every move was powerful.
Yes.
There was a significant point to this. Now, what I want to see with the ending of the main event is the winner of this match getting a match for the United Kingdom champion, because that is the hottest person right now.
And they're going to be the only ones to even stand toe to toe with someone like Walter.
Right. Spoiler alert. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
But Walter, he's a big guy, and Joe Coffey, he's a big guy.
He did win. He's a very smart person, because they were both trying to get up with using like the little travel carriers for like equipment and stuff, and Coffey kicked it out of the way of Dave Mastiff.
That was so smart.
I was confused at first on what happened, but when I saw it, I'm like, I'm going to be frank. I don't know about Peanut Gallery, but I'm going to speak for myself. For me, this was the worst match of the night.
It was, but it's really hard because
I did not like the ending. Honestly.
It felt very rushed.
Dave Mastiff was undefeated until this point.
Right.
For me, if he was taken down with something big instead of this little Churnko shit,
You're right.
it would have been more significant overall.
But does it establish Joe Coffey and all of Gallus as a very...
It's not that. Gallus is already established.
Right.
Joe Coffey's already been for the United Kingdom champion.
Okay.
He lost.
Fair enough.
But he still went for it. What I'm worried about is Dave Mastiff, who is an incredible big man wrestler, not looking good.
Right.
He did not look good at the end of this match, and that worries me.
Right, but third scenario, are they going to have another match?
Maybe.
I think they are. I think this is going to set them up for an extended rivalry.
What are they going to do other than a last man standing match? And that's where I get concerned about.
I don't know, but Dave Mastiff could say, hey...
Whoever loses gets their head taken off, literally, in the middle of the ring.
It's a guillotine match.
It's a fucking guillotine match.
God damn it. Oh, God. Well, anyways, let's move on.
Now, this match... We were distracted by other things, but this match within of itself was uneventful and forgettable to me.
So this was the worst. Well, this was the worst match, but the previous match had the worst finish.
Right.
Okay. Well,
I can see that.
enough.
This is the Kylie Ray Toni Storm match for the NXT UK Women's
I am
Champion.
surprised that Kaylee Ray did not attack Toni Storm after the match.
Right.
That would have made her heel run on, like, she'd be the woman's version of Walter if she did that.
This is what I would have loved to see. A dominant victory for Kaylee Ray killing Toni Storm.
Again, you could have done that after the match. Toni Storm was at ringside. Why can't you, like, just take, like, a kendo stick and slap her across the back a couple times?
And then also establish another match for later for, like, a no disqualification. Kaylee Ray did win. She won with 2 gory specials, which looked really good. And I'm not gonna... This is not a criticism to each of these women. Kaylee Ray's a great wrestler. And Toni Storm, her matches with Rhea Ripley were awesome.
Right.
But this match was flat.
It was forgettable.
With how they built it and to what it actually was.
It's a sleeper match.
Right.
It's a bathroom break match.
And I hate seeing those matches because I think every single match should be, I'm going to try to go to the bathroom as quickly as mentally possible in the middle of the shit.
Right.
And then I don't want to see nothing less of the action.
The rivalry itself was very forgettable, and that made the match, no matter how good it was, very forgettable.
Right. And I mean,
I
will say, at least as of right now, thank God Toni Storm lost the belt.
Yes. Seriously.
At least there's somebody new. But for me, as a part of myself watching it, it should have been Jenny to win the women's champion.
Kaylee Ray could have done a lot to establish herself as a good heel. That's it. That's all I can do.
Right.
30 more seconds, and she could have been the most dominant heel in the division.
How they booked this match with as 50-50 as it was, was a detriment to the match itself.
Right.
If this match was booked like the next match, that would have been totally different.
Let's talk about that.
For the main event,
the 42 minutes and 12-second slog.
It was not a slog.
It was not a slog.
Now I want to preface this. Peanut Gallery said this was a slog because of what he said with it being a 42-minute match. This was not a slog.
Well, again, slog meaning time length. It was the longest match.
You were making food. You did not see this match.
Right. But Walter and Tyler Bate. Now, I really don't
this is for the WWE United Kingdom champion as well.
Now, if you watch WWE NXT UK...
Right. This was
it doesn't need an introduction. You know about what this is leading up to.
We're going to at least give you kind of a preface of why this match was so important to what it was.
Walter makes a team. He beats up all the British Strong Style team, and Tyler
this was,
Bates last man standing.
Walter's group is Imperium, and then Tyler Bates is British Strong Style. Walter beat Pete Dunne to win the United Kingdom champion.
Mm-hmm.
There was at least a rivalry established there thank God Pete Dunne did not get a rematch at this takeover. Tyler Bate was the smallest guy, and to be honest, the contrast made this match as good as it was.
Oh my God. This match was absolutely tremendous. Well, since I was gone for about half of that match, why don't you go through a quick rundown of what happened, some of the main highlights.
So, Walter established himself as the powerhouse of this. The chops took down Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate could not hit the offense that he generally does, but when he did, it looked to where he was struggling, and it was sloppy, but it wasn't. Tyler Bate, despite his age, is an amazing talent to where he understands of how to present a fight to where a fight looks like a fight. This, to what Peanut Gallery saw and to what I saw, his stuff looked like he was struggling, but you could tell Walter was helping him to what he could. The scoop slams that he hit, the Tyler driver that he hit, to where he was doing a strike-based offense, looked authentic to what this match was supposed to be. And Walter, within of himself, doing a lot of power moves to where he was struggling to keep Tyler Bate at first to a position where he could really attack him hard, and where the tenacity of Tyler Bate, where he was kicking out of powerbomb after powerbomb to big-time moves, it really established that Tyler Bate had the heart of a champion, but he could not take over Walter. Mm-hmm. Walter won. He won with, I believe it was like a JBL-esque clothesline from hell.
Right.
Where usually he hit him with a powerbomb. Walter hit a powerbomb everywhere. He hit Northern Line suplexes everywhere. And like I said, there was such an emotion behind this. It was freaking incredible.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 5-star match.
Right.
Honestly, I wouldn't.
At the end of this match, I even said this out loud. This has to be a match of the year contender. Of any promotion, this has to be at least on that list of consideration.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It was that good.
After watching All Out even, this match was probably better than any match I've seen at All Out.
This was a standout match to where I did not think it would have been as good as it was.
Right.
And it was not because of the time. We have seen 10-minute matches where they were just as good.
Right.
But there was an emotion behind it. They structured it so perfectly.
Yeah.
To the strengths and weaknesses of each competitor to
right.
where this felt like David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
To where Tyler Bate was working an uphill battle, but the United Kingdom Championship felt realistically important.
Right.
And I even told Peanut Gallery at the end of this, and I'm still going to hold to it, the United Kingdom champion, is the most important main champion in WWE right now based on this match alone.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not going to say that it is because there was Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Kofi Kingston,
no
Randy
cares
Orton
about
again.
Those matches, though, but
I'm saying as an example, and also
but
Adam Cole.
There's prestige behind it.
This match really felt like this belt meant something.
Right.
And that, to me, as a fan who's been watching it since I was 6 years old, I'm 25. I've been watching wrestling, analyzing wrestling, obsessed with wrestling for about 20 years.
Yeah.
To where I have seen everything from Stone Cold and The Rock to the AEW stuff to
Yeah.
WCW stuff to even watching stuff in the past, there was something about this match. It felt special.
It did, and it was.
You were annoyed that you weren't watching this match live.
I was annoyed, yes, and I'm probably gonna. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna watch it again, but I mean, it was. I mean, from what I saw with the parts that I did see and all the replays and stuff, it was tremendous. It just when you thought it ended, it didn't end.
Right. If you can watch one match from NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, this was the match.
Yeah, that and the Cesaro match.
Yep. These two were like the matches.
That made the night.
Right. And there was no attacks from behind after. There was nothing else.
No.
That was Takeover Cardiff. To our original schedule, Royal Quest was going to be the one with All Out. I'm glad it wasn't.
I'm glad it wasn't either. Anyways, speaking of
every
All Out,
every single match about Cardiff was awesome.
oh my God, yes.
There was no match that was worse than a good match.
No, there wasn't.
So that was Cardiff. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take a quick break.
And after
enjoy the music, have a drink, do whatever you need to do. It'll be about 2.5, 3 minutes. After our break, we're gonna go right into AEW's All Out. So thank you.
That will be the main segment of our show.
Right. Before we go, I want to thank you guys again for watching, for listening, to doing whatever you need to do whenever you're watching this. And our sponsor, Anchor, has been absolutely fantastic for us. And if you want to see more, and if you want to see watch parties where we'll watch it live together as a collective, become a patron. It's a $10 patronage. For all of the shows that we'll watch, we'll do a live, no matter how big or small the crowd is, and we appreciate you guys that much. We'll do throwbacks, we'll do a lot of great content in the future. Mm-hmm. So, I want you guys to enjoy the show, relax for a minute, really take it in. If you have some time, maybe watch some stuff from Cardiff, but we're going to go to AEW in a couple of minutes. So, enjoy your break. And we are back from Cardiff to Chicago, from Wales to the United States, from WWE to All Elite Wrestling. This is the show that really kicked off.
This is the definition of our weekend.
It was really hard to determine if one show or two show can determine it. I decided to do two shows, and I think Peanut Gallery agrees that this was the right call.
So tomorrow we'll do the one show.
We'll do Royal Quest, and then we're going to do a really special topic, and we're going to announce that later. We're not going to do it now.
No. But for our weekly shows, what we're going to do is we're going to do news, and then we're going to discuss special topics. So if you have a special topic you would like us to discuss, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know if there's something you want us to cover.
Twitter is a place where I respond the most. Peanut Gallery, he only has Twitter as of right now. Go to Twitter, become a patron.
Mine is at mpeanutgallery.
Mine is at Tiger Height.
And let us know if there's a special topic or a show that you would like us to cover.
Well, we'll do everything from top 10s to discussions to even debates. We'll even do like a wrestling debate. That'd be a lot of fun.
We'll do Q&As. If you want to call in on the show and if you want to be a part of it, let us know.
I can set that up. It's not that hard.
We'd be happy to have you on.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's move on here to All Out, AEW's show, where they took jabs at not WWE, which I was really glad about.
I'm so fucking happy they did not do that.
They took a jab at the Observer.
Right. They did.
They're like, oh, someone told us that we would not be able to sell out an arena. Well, fuck you. We did.
And, a lot of these guys, there was a lot of tribute to Dave Meltzer and everything.
Yes.
And for us, I have the utmost respect for the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and that's not just with Meltzer, that's with Brian Alvarez, that's with everybody there, because we read The Death of WCW. They actually just released a new book, and I might get it, because I think it'd be interesting. It's a great book.
The Observer newsletter is definitely a source of inspiration for this channel.
Oh, absolutely. And, I read it basically every day to make sure that I'm up to date with my news. But anyway,
let's move on to the show.
I understand why they did it, but at the same time, I'm glad they did not take shots at WWE anymore, because with Fyter Fest, they really did a lot, and it was getting annoying.
Well, they did it because it happened at the same time.
Right.
Now
they intentionally did counter program
with WWE. WWE actually took a jab at AEW.
Right.
And WWE said after the Walter match, if you listen to the previous section of this podcast, follow this as a reference to AEW's All Out. So, but what I really want to do is I really want to focus really quick on the 21-woman casino battle royale, where Nyla Rose is the winner. She is one of the two contenders for the AEW Women's World Champion. We don't have to go to a whole debate about it, because we can make an entire episode about how significant this event was.
Right. And with the match that's going to be happening, if Nyla Rose wins, the AEW Women's World Champion is going to be decided in her hometown of Washington, D.C. But if she wins, which I'm going to predict right now that she will, unfortunately, she will be the first transgender champion in American wrestling.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people will say, oh, they're just catering, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I did not even know Nyla Rose was a transgender woman until a couple of weeks after the last show.
But we're talking about like, oh, they're just catering. Well, guess what?
Nyla Rose,
WWE to crown their first full African black world champion. Oh, that was this year.
Right. Nyla Rose she's a transgender, and that's fine. If you want to do that bully for you. This show is not to be political, but I understand the significance, and I'm going to congratulate her right now. She worked hard. she did not get here by being a shit wrestler.
Right.
She is not that.
Right.
One of my favorite matches from the last AEW show was the triple threat match with her, Ryu, and Shida.
Yeah.
It was so good. And honestly, I even said, Nyla Rose, of how big she is so freaking athletic. She, of any person to be an inspiration for anybody, she is the person to be that inspiration.
Yeah. So we don't normally cover pre-show matches. But
what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, I feel like this could be an important topic for a later show about the
transgender wrestling.
SJW versus pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Of if it's good, if it's bad, but we're going to talk about that later.
Oh, absolutely.
But for the women's world champion to get that kind of publicity, if you can do that, that's awesome.
Right.
And with somebody who's actually a good wrestler, that makes it even better because then nobody's going to complain about it. How can you complain about it that? We're going to go to...
Let's jump to the main show.
Right. We'll jump to the main show, and I'll explain later why the match for the Women's World Champion is more significant than I even think I can interpret to you as a part of an audio. Our first match, SCU versus Jurassic Express, which is Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and...
Marco Stunt.
Thank you.
And SoCal Uncensored, of course, is Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. 6-man tag team match. It was a tremendous spot fest. I loved it. It was good. It was a good curtain jerker match.
Oh, absolutely. This was curtain jerker.
It was 11 minutes.
Get the crowd behind you.
11 minutes and 45 seconds.
Everybody loved
good action.
Everybody loved everybody. People loved Luchasaurus. Everybody loved SoCal Uncensored when they said the worst town I've ever been in, blah, blah, blah. Their entire spiel where everybody's heard it 1,000 times. The loudest SCU I've ever heard. And
people like it.
This is my opinion. People love interacting with people. WWE has a problem with that right now. Obviously, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to go into it, and that might be a show for later. But fan interaction
is very important.
And
especially for a curtain jerker match, you want the crowd to get into the mood.
Right. It was a BME Meltzer driver, a double tombstone on Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy for SoCal Uncensored to win the match. Mm-hmm. They're protecting Luchasaurus because there's definitely something there with Luchasaurus on.
Marco Stunt can take the fall.
Right.
Marco Stunt did take the fall, but Marco Stunt is a manager. He's not necessarily a wrestler.
Right. And Jungle Boy is a great publicity talent because he is the son of Luke Perry.
Right.
Luke Perry was a very big Hollywood actor.
Yes.
And with his death, there's still a lot of talk about him.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that he's not just riding the coattails of his father.
Right.
He's carving his own path, and he's actually a decent little wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's in there with in a combination. SoCal Uncensored has like 33 years of experience.
Right.
There is a lot to go with. They can wrestle a broomstick and be the biggest things, be one of the best matches.
Right.
This was a great curtain jerker match. Nobody was buried. There was nothing progressed about it, unfortunately, but it was just what it was. People were excited. I was excited for the show after that.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next match. One of the surprises.
I was shocked this was so low on the card.
Pac and Kenny Omega.
Obviously, the original match was Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega.
It's Pac. Sorry. I want to say Pac, but it's Pac.
It's Pac with Pac.
Fuck.
Now, right. I want to at least shout out Jon Moxley on his healing of this staph infection that has returned.
Staph is literally killing this guy.
I really hope he doesn't die.
Right?
I don't want that. And like I said, I wish him, the family, and everything speedy recovery. I want to see the match with him and Kenny Omega because there was a story behind it. And Peanut Gallery, you are a sucker for a good story, and that is a great story. John Moxley shook the wrestling world when he debuted at Double or Nothing. We were there live. That crowd, I felt the vibration under my feet when he came out. And like I said, staff is terrible. And it can kill you.
Especially for John Moxley.
It can kill you so fast. Yeah. It's a debilitating disease. People have retired because of a staph infection. Yeah. So I'm going to express on behalf of myself, on behalf of Peanut Gallery, and all of the employees of Majestic Production as a company, a speedy and healthy recovery. Get back soon. Kick ass. Take names. Continue to rock the wrestling world. But this match...
But Pac...
This match was awesome.
Oh, my God.
I cannot scream enough praises about this match.
I think that this match, no offense to John Moxley, but Pac and Kenny Omega put on one of the best matches of the night. I don't think that John Moxley can be on that level because it's a different kind of match.
Right.
And Pac and Kenny Omega have never wrestled each other before.
Right.
And so it was interesting.
It was a fascinating match, and where Pac was...
I like how Pac defined gravity for like the first 10 minutes of it.
It was weird. It was like, oh, Kenny Omega, let's do a
DDT, but wait, I'm going to flip and just stand up again.
I'm going to do the flip and literally say fuck you to like gravity. And
remember, he's a man that gravity forgot.
Right. There was a 205 chant. And honestly, I'm glad that he didn't respond to it whatsoever because then that would have made that a lot worse. Pac did win.
Yes.
With the Rings of Saturn, which he called, I think, the Brutalizer.
Yes.
Yes. And it was a good submission. I like him as a submission wrestler. And I did not hate this match. In fact, I really liked this match.
The only thing is it felt incomplete. But, again, it was low on the card.
5 days notice.
Right. So, it's fine. These guys can have a rematch in 2 months, and it would probably be match of the year.
Easily. And, Moxley, don't take your time on coming back. Right. Don't come back early because, honestly, Moxley is such an amazing talent for hardcore wrestling, for regular wrestling. Yeah. We've seen him in the best of circumstances. We've seen him in the worst. I would rather him take some extra time to make sure that he's healthy than come back early and have the potential of ending his career early.
Right, exactly.
So,
good match. Pac is definitely a contender for a world title match one of these days.
Right.
And Kenny Omega, obviously, he'll probably go into a rivalry with
He was
Moxley.
not buried. Nobody was buried in this match.
It was a good match.
It was a good match. Everybody looked strong. It looked like that the ending of the match was a desperation move, and that's what made it good.
Right.
That's what made it where Kenny Omega did not do anything. He did not hit the one-wing angel, which is one of the most protected finishing moves ever.
And see, that's what felt incomplete.
You wanted to see a one-wing angel?
Well, that again, it's like, well, he didn't hit his range. He didn't hit his finishing moves.
He hit the V trigger.
Yeah.
He did the reverse liner.
He didn't do the one-winged angel.
One-wing angel. Nobody in any company has ever kicked out of it.
Right.
That's the thing. Even Kazuchika Okada with their 60-minute match, he hit it once.
Again,
it is one of the most protected finishing moves in wrestling.
So
the F5 can't say that. People have kicked out of 6 F5s.
Right.
Where nobody can kick out of one.
So who's going to be the first? Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the Cracker Barrel match.
The Cracker Barrel match. I love these matches because this is the 4th time we've seen it.
Oh my God. These 3.
This is the Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, and Darby Allin. This is
this
as a part of a hardcore match. It was an awesome match.
It hit all the gimmicky spots.
Darby Allin used a barrel to do his little suicide dive, whatever, and missed and crashed, and it looked like it probably hurt. Jimmy Havoc had thumbtacks taped into his mouth and then kicked in the face.
Darby Allin took a skateboard
with thumbtacks glued on the bottom and did an ollie on top of Joey Janela, where I could see where the skateboard like scraped over or dug into his like back and scraped. And I mean, like I said,
well, let's talk about Darby. No, was it Darby Allin took that fall with the tables? No, that was never mind. That was another match.
Right, that was another match. That was a totally other match.
These three are great. They're not world title contenders, but they are wonderful mid-carders, and this is what the mid-card should do.
Right.
You just put these three, or you put guys in a match like this, and
basically say,
they put
go.
A show on to appeal to the boners of hardcore fans everywhere.
Right. And I believe
15 minutes even. Cracker Barrel Clash. Excellent. I do like the barrels too.
Havoc was the one who won.
Yep.
You use the Acid Rainmaker, which is basically
on
his Rainmaker on top of a barrel on Joey Janela because Darby Allin was dead at that point. I liked the match for what it was. This was a spot fest, hardcore, let's kill each other match, and I was okay with it.
It did not disappoint.
Not every match can be a technical masterpiece, because then a technical masterpiece is not a technical masterpiece.
Exactly. This appealed to the boner of hardcore in all of us.
Right. This appealed to the little Attitude Era kid in me.
Yep.
And I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It looked dangerous, but I know it was safe.
Right.
And I was okay with that. And also, Cracker Barrel sponsored it. And what happened to fucking his wife? God damn it. Anyway.
Let's go on to the next match. The Dark Order versus the Best Friends.
The Dark Order?
The Dark Order.
This is the match where the winner of this match got a first-round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Champion Tournament. I believe the right team won.
Yep. Dark
Order
Order
won. It was a great match. Mm-hmm. It was a fantastic match. We did not see a ton of it because I don't know what happened, but all of our technology decided to have a fit.
Yep.
And to what we saw, we really enjoyed. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good like palate cleanser for the main matches of the night. But let's move on.
It was a big fatality from the Dark Order to win. And then Orange Cassidy showed up. Now, Peanut Gallery has never seen Orange Cassidy wrestle.
I do like how he ran with his hands in his pockets.
Orange Cassidy's gimmick is the I don't care gimmick. He does his entire match with not only his hands in his pockets, but the sunglasses on.
Exactly.
Now, the only time that we've seen him in AEW was with the Double or Nothing Battle Royal, where there was so much going on, you couldn't really decipher what was going on. And where he aligns himself with the Best Friends, mm-hmm. which is a great idea, and it gives him at least a babyface thing, because his signing was very controversial to how he wrestles, where his hands are in pockets. I don't care. A lot of people are turned off by that. I like it because it's something different.
Yeah.
With the Best Friends, it's very different, where they gave him like a hug and he had his hands in his pockets. I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I think it's a great contrast.
Yes.
And I'm okay with it.
So, take it for what it is. Wrestling is sports entertainment.
The right team won. Not everybody can be the Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero,
Right.
Perry Saturn, Radicals, Lucha Brothers, whatever. There has to be some comedy. You can do smart comedy, and it elevates
Right. It
the
elevates
show.
the team, yeah.
It elevates the show in general
Yeah.
because you were correct on saying this was a palate cleanser, where you cannot go from a technical masterpiece to a technical masterpiece because then you exhaust everybody. You need that match to where you can flush out your brain, release all of that energy and tension, have a fun little match to where it means something, but it's not like Kenny Omega Pac.
Right.
And you can enjoy it, but not be overwhelmed.
Exactly.
And AEW has a great sense of that balance.
Yeah.
This was a really easy This was a really easy show, but we'll go into it later.
Yeah. Well, so let's move on to Rio, who weighs about the same as my jizz rag versus
Hikaru
Shida. Ryu was the upset of the night.
The winner of this match faced Nyla Rose on what was the time? It doesn't matter. The winner faced Nyla Rose
for the AEW Women's World Champion.
That was not tonight. It's going to be during the regular show, which I'm very happy they
Their
are.
debut on October 2nd.
Now, Ryu weighs 95 pounds, and they would literally not shut up about it, and it was bothering me immensely.
It was. It's like, you got the really heavy wrestlers.
JR got annoying to me. I'm like, JR, shut the fuck up. We get it. She's 98 pounds, soaking wet with cinder blocks tied to her ankles into a lake. We get it. She's small. It's fine. She's a good wrestler to what she is. We saw that in the triple threat match in the last show.
And then she won, and guess what? She's facing literally the opposite of her.
She pinned she pinned the person she's going to be facing.
This is literally David versus goddamn Goliath.
Where Goliath is going to win, definitely.
Unfortunately, Ryu for her size, she is actually a really good technical wrestler.
She's a really good technical wrestler. She's like she's 2 years younger than me, which is conflicting to me because I feel bad about my life, and then I'm also kind of turned on because my penis is not racist.
I mean, his penis was fully erect and was probably taller than her.
It was probably heavier than her too.
Man, we are gonna be considered dirty.
But the one thing about Ryu, this was probably the craziest roll up to end the match I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. It was like a backdrop, slid through a whatever, we forgot gravity for a minute, and then pin. That's what happened.
Right.
It was a good match. Mm-hmm. And I did not expect it to be like 5-star, triple threat, whatever, blow my mind match.
Right.
It was better than what I expected,
yeah,
but
it was. It went on for 13 minutes.
Right. And then I think the women's world title match is exactly what it should have been. There's only one other match that could have been better, I believe. Brandy Rhodes versus Allie. 1-on-1, no ifs, ands, or buts. The winner is the inaugural Women's World Champion.
But again, it is neither here nor there.
Right.
They picked two really good competitors for it. So
they picked two good competitors. They're gonna make history, and if Nyla Rose wins, they're gonna make even more history.
That's gonna be the main event of AEW and TNT.
Well, of that week.
Yeah.
That's not the first week.
Yeah, it is October 2nd. That's the first week they're on TNT.
Is that when the match is happening?
Yeah.
But that's when the world title match is going to be defended.
No, the world title match is going to be defended the next week.
Oh, okay. Well, then it doesn't matter. Okay. We'll cover that later.
Yes, we will. That's going to be the main event.
Oh, that's definitely going to be the main event.
Oh, God, yes. Anyways, let's move on to match number 8. Speaking
this one.
Cody versus Shawn Spears.
Shawn Spears' entrance was fantastic. I loved the colored contacts that he had. He felt like a main eventer.
He did. He felt like the biggest heel. They literally built this rivalry up with YouTube videos and a chair shot.
Right. But
follow that,
to
Vince.
to what this match was, I was honestly a little disappointed.
It did not live up to the hype.
There was a lot of interference that I was not thrilled about.
No.
Now, Tully Blanchard getting involved, but then Arn Anderson came out of nowhere, spinebuster Sean Spears. I think he should have went after Tully Blanchard. That would have been very different.
Yes.
That would have been probably the best decision for it.
Yes.
Obviously, hindsight's 2020. But him attacking Sean Spears to go against Tully Blanchard, it looked weird. It just felt out of place.
It did. It made Sean Spears.
He should have tagged. Now, I'm going to use this example as a good thing of how if a manager facing a manager to where they don't attack the actual people. WrestleMania 23, Battle of the Billionaires, Donald Trump, Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon got involved on tripping Lashley. At this time, Donald Trump comes out of nowhere, beats him up. That's how you did it right.
Right.
If Arn Anderson, who attacked Tony Blanchard, original Four Horsemen, that would have been awesome.
That would have made headlines.
Oh yeah, and that would have set up a great mixed tag, or a great tag team match with them. And I feel like that's going to happen still.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson being involved in a wrestling match.
They wouldn't be in there all the time.
Well,
they could do their spots. Arn Anderson hit the spine buster. He did a decent spine buster. Cody hit the crossroads. Sean Spears lost, but
wasn't buried.
And that's the thing about this show is
what's really weird too is MJF. Is he a face or is he a heel?
That was the one thing that bothered me too. Is he a face or is he a heel? I'm conflicted because
my theory is that maybe he's playing some games.
Maybe MJF versus Cody down the road?
Yep, he's playing some games.
Right.
He is playing some little games. Anyways, speaking of little games,
and I'm okay with
absolutely.
that because MJF versus Cody, holy shit, MJF will be the biggest heel in wrestling.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some brothers versus brothers action here.
This is the Escuela de la Muerte, or the ladder match.
The ladder match
for the triple A, or Triple A, if you're American like me.
World Tag
Team Champions. Lucha Brothers
Jr. and Rey Fenix versus Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson.
The Young Bucks.
Yes.
This has to be the last match.
It was
at least for a while,
because we thought it was going to be. This had to be the last match,
but they kept going. If they do another match at the next pay-per-view, I will be really pissed off.
Well, no. We're going to talk about the third team that got involved in this match
in a little bit. This match, in of itself, was incredible.
Oh my God!
This is blow-off.
This is where Nick Jackson went through the tables.
Oh yeah. So Nick Jackson, I don't know what happened, but his legs got caught. He went face first into a table.
Yeah.
It just was. I was like, oh, he's dead. The guy is dead.
And then Matt Jackson gets pile drived onto a ladder, and he was dead
in the middle. There were so many great spots in this match. There was so much trust. There was the Canadian Destroyer off a ladder through a table from Pentagon to Matt Jackson.
I remember that one too.
There was, these guys trust each other so much.
This is one of the matches that you have to see.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you need to see the whole pay-per-view, but if you have time to only see one match in your life because you have no time, this is the match.
The Lucha Brothers did retain the AAA World Tag Team Champions.
Oh my God.
Then two guys in presidential masks and hoods attacked
both
the Lucha
teams.
Brothers. Yeah. Well, both teams, but they attacked the Lucha Brothers first, obviously. This ended up being Ortiz and Santana from LAX. They have signed with AEW. Thank Christ.
And this is where I can see a rematch
with LAX involved.
It's going to be a triple threat tag team match.
And
Lucha
that's fine.
Brothers versus the Young Bucks versus LAX.
And that is fine. I'm okay with that.
Well, because it has the Triple A in it. And guess who's a co-founder of Triple A? Conan.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even know
the manager of the manager of LAX.
Right. There's so much going on.
There's gonna be this rivalry. When you think it's over, it just gained a new dimension.
Right. With this new injection, with a new team involved, it is elevated tenfold with this.
Oh my God. This rivalry now has to continue with LAX injected into it.
As long as LAX is in it, then I'm fine with it.
Exactly.
But the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks as a one-on-one tag team match cannot happen at least for a couple of months.
It needs to have that injection.
Right.
It just needs to.
Especially
with Conan.
Right.
I mean, God, that's just gonna make the whole fucking thing. Anyways, well, we're kind of getting close to the end here of our podcast.
Oh yeah, we're about 31 minutes into this part alone.
Yeah.
Because I mean there was a lot going on.
So much to talk about. But let's just touch briefly, or however long we need to, on Adam Page and Chris Jericho.
This is the main event. This is for the very first AEW World Champion. They did not make history just based on these two going after this title, but the girl wrestler, Aubrey, whatever her name was, is the first woman to referee a main event show in a main event title match in a main event promotion, which is great to see.
That was history.
It was.
There's a lot of history being made.
I personally was disappointed.
I was not disappointed for the first half of the match, but towards the second half, I was a little bit disappointed. It was a lot of the same spots.
Great.
It was a lot of the same crap. It kind of died right there in the middle.
Yep.
It was exciting at the very beginning.
Because of what was going on and the implication, but then when people started to see what was going on into what I saw, it was everything of the same.
Died.
I don't want to say there was nothing special about this because there was a lot special about it, but
there's a lot. But after 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours of a show, people are going to get tired, and you
need to do something special almost consistently, or at least in the middle, to keep the audience's attention.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada in the 2 out of 3 Falls match in Dominion was a 7-star match in a 60-minute match for a reason. It kept my attention the entire time. There was something special about it. Chris Jericho and Hangman Page, this is taking nothing away from them. I felt like this kind of fell on its face, and it got up at the end.
Yeah, there was about a third of the match where it just died.
Right,
and again, it was because of.
I don't think there was one thing that kind of killed this match.
No, but it was just the culmination.
Right.
And what happened was
it slowed down to a point where
it slowed down. That's probably what happened. It slowed.
A slowdown does not necessarily mean it died. It slowed down for no reason.
Right.
If it slows down for a reason, then great.
Right.
Do that. But a match is supposed to be slow at first, and as it builds up, they start doing moves to where they're getting desperate. At the end it did, because Jericho hit the Judas effect out of nowhere and won.
Which
Chris Jericho is the first AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
I was incredibly disappointed that nobody established themselves as a contender after the fact. Where does Jericho go from here? Who is his contender?
Who is it?
Pac is a heel.
Yeah.
Jericho's a heel.
Right.
Is it going to be Hangman Page again? Why? He already lost.
Yeah.
What about Kenny Omega? He lost. If Kenny Omega attacked...
That's why I think that Adam Page should have won, because they were setting up Adam Page versus Pac.
And that would have been at least fine, but you still should have had that ending thing to where they don't have to even attack them. Go out there, look at Jericho, look at the title.
Tiger Head was hoping for CM Punk to show up.
That would have been awesome. What better way to say, hey, our first title defense was a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania with CM Punk and Chris Jericho.
Right.
That prints money at that point.
Right.
It's a shot in the dark, but
Chris Jericho, who can...
There are only like a handful of people who can justifiably go against Chris Jericho to where it is. Pac would have to turn babyface to justify going up against Chris Jericho. You're right.
I wonder if it's going to be like Cody or something. I don't know. I really...
Cody, I don't think he should.
No.
He should not face him. It should be Omega, maybe Hangman Page in a...
Triple threat.
In a return match. Triple threat. That could happen.
But
I don't think it should for at least the first title defense.
Yeah.
Now, there is at least 1 week to where they can build something, and that's fine. And they're probably going to do that.
Yeah.
But the women's world title match has to be the main event.
Oh, yes.
And then also they have to establish a number one contender. They just can't throw something against Chris Jericho for the AEW World Champion, even if it's Kenny Omega in a loser gets his throat slit match.
Right.
They can't do that. They have to establish at least even with a week of time, 7 days, they have to establish at least something to where they can promote it a little bit.
Right. Because
if it's a tournament.
You had too many heels.
Right.
You had too many heels for what you needed.
Right.
Either Omega should have beaten Pac or Page should have beaten Jericho.
This could be a prediction to what I think should happen. I'm going to say this at least once because I don't want this to go any more than it has.
Yeah.
I like the Cody Jericho idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have Cody win. Have MJF be his friend. Betray him at the end of that show. Establish that for the show on November 2nd.
Ooh, that would be cool. Anyways, but so what's going to happen from here? We're pretty much done. I think we've set our fruits.
So for tomorrow, what we're going to do is that our regular show is going to be at Sundays. Mm-hmm. We'll have either stories or predictions or a topic that we're going to go into depth about, depending on what we feel like.
Yeah.
If you have any suggestions, we're open to suggestions on Twitter.
If you're a wrestler or a podcaster or a news reporter, anyone related to the wrestling community, and you want to be a special guest on our show, reach out to us. We'll be happy to have you.
We'll do interviews. If you're like, hey, let's do a scenario with blah, blah, blah.
Yes, choose a scenario. That would be cool.
It has to be something that would change the wrestling culture as a whole.
Right.
Don't say, oh, what if Daniel Bryan beat Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania? No. What about if Kofi Kingston wasn't the first? What if it was like Farouk or something different?
Anyways, we'll move on.
Right. We'll progress from there, but we'll do the outro here in a bit.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoy the outro.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Yep.
See you later.
Yep. Good night, guys.
Bleh.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Pro Wrestling Zone podcast, a Majestic production. If you enjoyed this program, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms. Links in the description section of wherever you're watching this. We are on all channels. We will be doing this once at least a week, and we will let you know when we go live. Also, if you want to support us further and get great exclusive content, including watch parties, merchandise, signings, and any and all future shows, become a patron today at patreon.com/MajesticP. That again is patreon.com/MajesticP. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or morning, and as always, be majestic.